Sponsored in part by the Saskatchewan pork producers. Pick pork any meal, anytime. Naturally lean, packed with protein and versatile. For recipes, information, and more, visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook. #PickPork.
Hey, I'm Shaq from Rock 102. I'm not a chef, and I didn't go to any fancy cooking school. I'm just a regular guy that likes to cook. Everybody, it's Cooked with Shaq. Welcome to the show today. I'm Shaq. He's Harrison. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm great.
Sounding good, man?
Thank you.
You know what? Speaking of sounding good, we've got some great music that you're going to be hearing throughout the entire episode of Cooked with Shaq today. We've got Penny Rain, our good friends Penny Rain. They got a new album called Weird. Check it out. It's going to be a really hot album. Check them out when they're in concert, too. They always put on a great show. So Penny Rain, you'll be hearing music from them all episode long. So, you like the ribs, right?
Oh, I love the ribs.
That's what we're doing here today. We decided we haven't done a rib show for a while.
Yeah.
So we decided, you know, I was thinking about it. I've been kind of seriously running out of ideas for this show. Like, we've cooked so much food over the last over 4 years on Cooked with Shaq. It just, I was thinking, what could I do? And I thought, you know what, let's go back to the old standby. Let's go back to some ribs, some nice, big, hearty, thick, meaty ribs. Okay, that's fine, but what are we going to put on the ribs? We've done all kinds of different barbecue sauces, and I was opening my breakfast cupboard one morning, and I saw a big thing of honey. And I thought, you know what? Let's do honey glazed barbecue ribs today. Wow. So we're actually going to do a little bit of a honey show, because honey is so great. I love honey. It's actually way sweeter than sugar. That's why if you're ever going to use honey for anything in baking or cooking or whatever, any kind of sauces or whatever, always make sure you don't use too much, because it'll get really sweet, because that's I think it's like 3 or 4 times sweeter than sugar.
Oh, that's why I like honey a lot.
Yeah.
Put honey on everything.
There's times where you could just take the thing and just go,
oh, there we go. That's right.
So honey glazed ribs is what we're going to do. So now, first off, you got to get a good rack of ribs. So I've picked these ones out, and you have to prepare the ribs before you actually get to cooking them. Now, of course, there's people out there that like to cook their ribs for 3-4 hours really low and slow, and that's perfectly fine if you've got lots of time. But what we're going to do, and what we've told you before, is this is a quick way of tenderizing your ribs so that they're fall off the bone friendly, meaty. They're so good, and all we do is we boil them. But when you boil them, you don't want to just use water. You can if you want, but you want something to infuse a little bit of taste into your ribs, right? So what we've done is we've taken 2 liters of chicken stock and a little bit of water, and now we're setting it a boil, but we want to hop it up a little bit more and put an onion in there, because we want to just give it a little bit more flavor. So we'll stick an onion in. Don't have to chop it up in small pieces, just put it in. We just want it for the flavor. It's going to be garbage later on. Okay, and of course we want a little bit of garlic.
Of course.
All right, give me a little chopping music with the area. Nice, beautiful. There is our garlic. That goes right. Boy, the chopping goes quick when you do that, hey?
Oh,
everybody
sure does.
Play a little music while you're chopping.
You could always have a guitar player in the
He's for hire if you want to hire him.
Yeah, I'm taking things.
Okay, all right, so now what we want to do is prepare the ribs. This is boiling away nicely. So now this is an interesting thing, because when I went and got my ribs, usually when you get the ribs and you flip it over, you have a membrane that goes right across the back, and you want to get rid of that. But to my surprise, I brought these ribs home, and my friendly neighborhood butcher had already gotten rid of the membrane.
Well, look at that.
So we are going to pretend that there is a membrane on the ribs today, okay? So what you want to do is, if there were a membrane on this rack of ribs, you would take a very sharp knife and you would kind of just find the edge of the membrane, and you would kind of put a little bit of a slit in there just to kind of bring it away from the bone, if there was a membrane on the ribs.
If there was.
And then you would take your piece of membrane in between your fingers, and you just kind of slice a little bit more away if there was a membrane on the ribs. And then you would just keep on going, and then you would just take the membrane in your hand and you would just peel it. If there was a membrane, and you would just peel it all the way off, and it would be done, just like that. And you just hold it in your hand and you just toss it in the garbage like that. If there was a membrane on the ribs. But there isn't, so we don't have to worry about it. But now you know how to do it if there was. Does anybody understand what we just did? Okay, there's no membrane on the ribs. Now, this is a pretty big rack of ribs, and it's not gonna fit in the pot. So what we're going to do is take our ribs, find the middle, and we're just going to take them like that, toss them right into the pot. So let's do all of these ones, okay? Just like that. We're gonna toss them right in. Have this at a boil. Oh, look at those big meaty ribs. Perfect. That's what you want, is nice, big, meaty ribs. And you want to just get them all nicely stuffed into the pot there. Now, you'll bring that to a boil, and you will let that simmer. Turn it down as soon as it comes to a boil. Turn it down to low so it's still kind of simmering around, and have it there for between an hour and a half and an hour 45 minutes, okay? Once they're done, they will be they won't look really great. They'll be kind of gray, but they'll be fall off the bone tender. And you take them out with a pair of tongs, put them on a cookie sheet, and then stick them in the refrigerator for maybe 3-4 hours before you decide to put them on the barbecue or put them in the oven. And what that does is all the connective tissues that are inside the ribs will all come back together again, so they'll be a lot easier to handle when you put them on the barbecue or in the oven. So just let that go for a while. Like I said, an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes, and we will have those ready to go for the sauce. Speaking of the sauce, we're gonna do the sauce coming up in just a couple of minutes as we cook with honey on Cooked with Shaq.
Sponsored in part by the Saskatchewan pork producers. Pick pork any meal, anytime. Naturally lean, packed with protein and versatile. For recipes, information, and more, visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook. #PickPork.
It's Cooked with Shaq. Welcome back, everybody. Today we are doing honey roasted ribs. Oh, they are so good, and they're very super easy to do too. Now we've got the ribs boiling. If you've just joined us, yes, the ribs are boiling in soup stock, in chicken stock to be more specific, and it's got an onion in there, and it's got a few extra spices and things. We're gonna boil them for about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes, and I know you rib purists are going, hold it, what are you boiling them for? You gotta put them on the barbecue for 3 to 4 hours. Well, that's awesome. If you've got 3 to 4 hours to spend, go for it. I don't have 3 or 4 hours to spend, I only got an hour and a half, so that's why we're doing it this way. We're gonna boil them, and then afterwards we put them in the oven and put the glaze on, and they're fall off the bone perfect. They are so good. So anyhow, now we wanna do the glaze. We wanna do the, well, it's more of a barbecue sauce type of thing, but we're doing it with honey today. So they are going to be honey roasted, but we're gonna start off with a base. You always gotta start off with a base when you're talking about barbecue sauce. And now some people use tomato paste, which is great, and then they have to add a whole bunch of things to them. Well, the great thing about ketchup is that it is tomato paste already, and it's got all that stuff already in it already. So it makes it life a whole lot easier. You don't have to add all the different spices and all the different things. You can add more things to it as well. What's your favorite barbecue sauce? Do you like a smoky barbecue sauce, or do you like a
barbecue sauce? Yeah, I like the smoky.
Yeah,
Smoky.
well, we're gonna make a little bit of a smoky barbecue sauce for you today. Okay, so we're gonna start off with some ketchup. Now, again, measurement-wise, I really have no idea what I'm doing here when it comes to measurements. Okay, so as per usual. So we're going to just put a whole bunch of ketchup in there. I'd say let's call it a half a cup.
No, I'll just write down a whole bunch of ketchup.
A whole bunch of ketchup in there. Just throw it in there, just like that. Now we're gonna get that going. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put in a little bit of honey. Actually, well, we'll say a quarter cup of honey. So make sure you get lots of honey in there because you want that nice honey taste. Again, very, very sweet though, so just be careful. If you want to start off slow, maybe with 1/8 of a cup, and then go with 1/4 of a cup, depending on how honey-ish you want it. All right, now what we want to do is throw in a little Worcestershire sauce. That just gives it a little bit more of a...
It always seems to be like a secret ingredient.
Yeah, it's got something about it that it's got all kinds of unique flavors in it, and it just makes everything it makes it pop. You know, it's got a little bit more zing, I guess you could say. Okay, so what haven't I put in here? Okay, a little bit of molasses too. We want to put in some molasses. Not too much though, because if you put too much in, it's going to get a little bit bitter. But what you want is kind of that. It's just, again, it's more full flavor when you're putting molasses into a barbecue sauce. A little bit of Jamaica rum on.
Okay.
Always zings it up a little bit, hey?
Oh, I'm getting really interested.
Okay, so a little bit of Jamaican rum. And you want to just put, no flame ups today though. We're not going flame ups. We're just going to let this boil out. So just a shot. Okay, just get a shot glass and just throw that in there.
All right.
Now what we want to do is put in a whole schwack of garlic. Because honey garlic is awesome. It's a great combination. So we're going to put in some garlic. Lots of garlic? Of course you want lots of garlic in there. Okay, so we got 2 cloves. 2 cloves of garlic. How about 3? You want to go 3?
Yeah.
3 cloves of garlic.
That's a good number.
Nice simple number of just 3 cloves. That's going to be a lot of garlic, boy. You won't. The missus will be making you sleep in the car tonight. That's pretty much normal for you anyway,
yeah,
isn't it?
I'm usually in the van, and it's pretty cool in there though. Got the carpet on the sides and the lights, and
Well, that's beautiful.
it's rock.
All right, now what we're going to do is put a little bit of vinegar, not a whole bunch. We want another little bit of a zing. So this is apple cider vinegar. We're going to just pop a little bit of vinegar in there. Just maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of vinegar. And now we're going to bring that all to a boil. We don't have to add any salt or anything. If you want to throw some pepper, hey, you know what? Pepper, but we're also going to throw in, how about a little bit of hot sauce?
There we go.
Let's do the hot sauce. Something that we haven't done for a little while. So just a little bit. Don't have to put in much. Whatever you feel. If you're wanting it nice and spicy, go for it. A little bit of pepper. See, pretty simple. It's just a bunch of ingredients. You just throw it in there, willy-nilly, and see what happens.
That's the Shack way.
That's right. You boil it up now. And let that sit. It's going to melt down because honey, of course, once it gets heated, or if anything gets heated, it starts to liquefy a little bit. So we are going to just let that all combine. And what we'll do is we will thicken it up a little bit later on. Once it simmers for a while, we're going to thicken it up with a little bit of cornstarch and water, make a little slurry, and put it in there just to make it so it's nice and thick when you're putting it on your ribs. Okay, I think that's ready to go. The ribs are boiling away. When we come back, this will be ready to happen, and we're going to stick it on the ribs. We're going to also do a coleslaw with a honey dressing as well, too, because nothing goes better with ribs than coleslaw. So we're coming back. We're doing ribs. We're doing honey. We're doing coleslaw. We're doing everything on Cooked with Shack. Come on back.
Sponsored in part by the Saskatchewan pork producers. Pick pork any meal, anytime. Naturally lean, packed with protein and versatile. For recipes, information, and more, visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook. #PickPork.
Look at me. I am in a forest of dill. Look at that.
Wow. Wow.
Look at, we got a ton of dill right here. We're gonna put a ton of dill into this sauce that we're about to make. Because welcome back, yes, it's Cooked with Shaq. I'm Shaq, he's Harrison. We're doing glazed honey ribs today. We're doing a honey sauce coleslaw. And as a matter of fact, we're gonna do the sauce for the coleslaw right now. Now, usually with coleslaw dressing, it's usually a mayo base, and you have some sugar in there, and you have a few other things. But instead of sugar, we're gonna use honey because it brings just a nice flavor to it, really nice flavor. So the coleslaw, and we're gonna also put some dill in there as well too. So we're gonna start it off with the base, which is a nice big glob of mayonnaise. Man, make that 2 big globs of mayonnaise. Super easy. You just take a little bit of the honey. Now this is where you just take a little bit, just a couple of squirts, about that much, which is, I don't know, about a tablespoon,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's put a little garlic in there too, hey?
Oh, sure.
Why not? So let's just let's do a little crushing of the garlic. We're gonna crush it down like that, and just do a quick chop on it. Mince it up a little bit, just like that. Throw a little garlic in there. Now what we're gonna do is a little bit of salt. Let's do a little bit of pepper. Pepper is in. And then we're just going to put in as much dill as you want. So we're just gonna take this great big thing of dill. Let's just chop it in half for now, because I'm not sure if we're gonna use all of that, but let's just have some fun chopping up some dill. Give me some chopping music, my man. Give me some chopping music. Chop that dill. Chop that dill. We're gonna chop that dill. And we're gonna, I think we need more dill. Put that dill right in the sauce. Yeah, you know what? I think we're good. Actually, no, let's go. Let's a little bit. Keep it going. We're gonna put a little more dill in. Because you can't get enough dill. Keep chopping. And there we go. The chopping is done. The dill is in. We're good to go. And it's, oh, the smell of dill. Just,
oh, it's so good.
oh, can you smell that? Sorry, you can't. Oh well, I'll smell it for you. It is so good. Okay, so now what we do is we've got, all the ingredients are in except for a little bit of milk, but we're gonna put that in last because we're gonna thin it out just a little bit. So let's get all that good stuff going in there. You got the honey in there, you got the salt and pepper, you got all that dill, but now it's way too thick to put into your coleslaw. So we're gonna take a little bit of milk and we're gonna thin it out a bit. The reason why I use milk instead of water is because mayo is fat-based, right? It's made with eggs, it's made with oil, and there's fat in there. If you take water, what happens with oil and water? Come on, Science 101 here, Harrison, what?
It doesn't mix.
It's right, it doesn't mix. But if you use milk, what is milk? Milk has fat in it, so it will help to mix really nice. Right. So that's what you want. You want a consistency of about, first you have to taste it though.
Of course.
Everybody has to have, well, I will anyway. Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. That's awesome. Okay. All right, so that's done. We want about the consistency of like a pancake mix. Just like that. So, now we get to the actual coleslaw. Grab a bowl, grab a cabbage, grab carrots, grab all kinds of vegetables, and just start grating the heck out of them. So you get a whole bunch, or just go to a grocery store and buy a bag of it.
Oh, yeah, you could do that too, sure.
It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to do that.
I got some serious chopping music to play today if we're gonna do that.
We could have been chopping for days, but you know what? Yeah. The great thing is that the grocery store has already done that for us. Wow. It's done. Look at that. We got some carrots in there. We got some purple cabbage. We got some green cabbage. We've got a stem of some sort. See you later. Now, we're done. Let's take this wonderful concoction of goodness and then just pour it right over top. Get all of it out of there. Okay. Now you just got to give it a good mixing. This takes a little while. So, you know, give me some mixing.
I was going to say, that's a lot.
That's
a lot of
that's a lot of cabbage.
We got some friends coming over here? Or
you guys are going to have
to. So
you guys are going to have to eat the whole thing. Oh, and so well, hey, some friends.
Hey.
Friends are coming over. Hey, there you go.
Hi. Should I pick it up?
No, let's just unplug it. How's that? You know,
Okay.
They could leave a message.
No, salad's ours. I'm eating the whole salad.
Hey, this is live, man. This is live TV. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Back to mixing.
Here we go. Mix it up. Okay, and we are done mixing. Done. Okay, so now you don't want it. So you don't want a whole lot of the dressing because you don't want it to get too soupy. Because sometimes this coleslaw gets a little bit too soupy.
Yeah, I don't like when it's soupy.
This is just nice. It's all.
Yeah, you know, I didn't think you had enough there, but
Yeah, no, it worked
you're
out
a good mixer.
Well, I'm gonna try it again here. Let's just try it
Okay.
again.
All right. Oh, jeez. Okay. All right.
Half the coleslaw is on the floor. How did that happen? Anyway, we're done. That is finished. Coleslaw is done, ready to go. So now, the ribs have been boiling for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. They're still boiling, but I've already done up a few ribs.
Oh.
And this is what they look
for
like.
later on, like midnight snack. Those ribs
Exactly, that's right.
Yeah.
So now this is what they look like. They don't look that great right now because they've been boiled. So they're kind of an off color. You're kind of going, ugh. They look, they look a little bit suspect.
Yeah.
But we put a little seasoning on them. Now what we're gonna do is put them in a 425 degree oven for about 5 minutes. And then we're gonna put the sauce on. And I kid you not, fall off the bone ribs. You are gonna love it. It is awesome. So let's throw these babies in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes, just so that they can start to heat up a little bit.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
And that's the sound of the ribs just about ready. So we're gonna pull them out of the oven. See, look at that, they already look better already. Now, they are nicely warmed through. It only takes, like I say, about 5 to 10 minutes. And now what we do is we take our great honey glazed sauce, garlic sauce. Look see how thick it's gotten? That's because I put in a little bit of cornstarch slurry. That's cornstarch and water, and it gets nice and thick, so you don't have to put, you don't have to keep on. It doesn't fall off. It'll stay right on the ribs. So we're just going to give each of these a really nice coating of sauce. Look at that. You can actually see how that honey is kind of makes it a little bit translucent. It's not so thick that you can't see the ribs underneath. It just looks, oh, it looks awesome. So just keep putting some on there. And then use it all up to get nice and thick on there. Just make sure each of them gets a nice blanket of sauce. There's a lot of garlic in here.
That's what I like.
It's gonna be a garlic show. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit more on this one just to heap it on a little bit. And we're just about finished. Look at that. Does that look awesome or what, Harrison?
Oh man.
Just
I
keep
don't even know what to
mopping
say
it
right
on.
now.
Keep mopping it on. There it is. It's all done. Now, these will go back in for about 15 more minutes. And I kid you not, the tenderest ribs you will ever eat, and that honey glaze, nothing to it. Put those back, like I said, about 10 minutes at about 425, 10 to 15 minutes. And then we're eating good on Cooked with Shaq.
Sponsored in part by the Saskatchewan pork producers. Pick pork any meal, anytime. Naturally lean, packed with protein and versatile. For recipes, information, and more, visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook. #PickPork.
Welcome back. It's Cooked with Shaq. Today we're making honey glazed ribs, and we have a coleslaw with a honey sauce in the coleslaw. So it's kind of a honey show today.
Yeah.
And so we've got the coleslaw ready to go. The ribs are ready to come out of the oven. They're looking awesome. But you know what? There was something that we were missing today.
Oh.
What do you think it was? Actually, two things that we were missing today. And I thought, you know what? This might go well in the coleslaw.
Bacon? Bacon?
Yeah, of course.
Bacon!
How could you have a Cooked with Shaq show without bacon? So we're going to put a little bacon in the coleslaw.
Made my day.
Just like that. And you know what? We also are forgetting cheese. So we're going to take a little bit of shredded cheese.
Wow.
And we're also going to drop that into...
All of a sudden, this has just become like the best salad ever.
Exactly. You got to love it.
Yeah.
All right, so now you work all that into the coleslaw.
This looks way more exciting now.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, what I look good. Doesn't that look way better now?
Oh.
Awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a great big scoop of coleslaw. Look at that.
Yeah.
Just like that. We'll just get some more on there. Get some bacon in there too. Bacon and cheese. Top it all off. Just nice with that good sauce. Beautiful sauce. All right, now, here we go.
Dun, 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 dun.
There they are. Look at those ribs.
Wow.
See how beautiful they've turned out?
You did it again, Shaq.
Thank you very much. Well, let's take one here. Let's take this one right here, as a matter of fact, because it's got some actual bone that's sticking out the side. Look at that. Oh, and see how juicy they are?
Yeah.
And they just fall off, and I'm just going to put it right beside, right on top, right there of the coleslaw.
Yeah.
There it is. There is your honey glazed ribs, your honey sauce coleslaw. And thank you very much to Penny Rain. Their new album is called Weird. You've been hearing cuts from the new album throughout the entire episode of Cooked with Shaq. We are done. We are ready to eat, my friend.
We are ready.
Thanks for joining us on Cooked with Shaq. Enjoy these ribs. They are good.
Sponsored in part by the Saskatchewan pork producers. Pick pork any meal, anytime. Naturally lean, packed with protein and versatile. For recipes, information, and more, visit saskpork.com or visit us on Facebook. #PickPork.